closing statement?
Well, primary is September 13th, and I think what you're getting with my candidacy, and I think also I want to let everybody know that my partner in this campaign has been Tom DiCero, who's the owner of the Stone Church. Although we started independently from each other, we have coalesced through the campaign process because we're of like minds as what needs to be done in the town of Yorktown. And I think that myself and Mr. DiCero are stark contrast to what has been the entrenched mentality in the town of Yorktown for a lot of years. We're both small businessmen, we're both entrepreneurs, we've both made investments in the town, both residential investments and commercial investments in the town, which is a stark contrast to those that are on the board in terms of having made actual dollars and cents investment in the town. The other town board, the other candidates, exception with Dave Pagnelli, who owns the Travelers Rest, don't have that type of stake in the town. Having that, and why do I mention that? Because having that type of stake in the town, you viscerally understand what the issues are, you viscerally understand what the impact is of the current regulatory infrastructure is on business. You viscerally, you live it, you understand what these regulations do, you understand how they're onerous, you understand how they're expensive, you understand how they're burdensome, and not just for the, and it's the little guy. It's the little guy who's on the margins, and the little guy that's on the margins is also the guy that probably provides most of the local employment and a good portion of the tax base. And you have to tend to them, and you have to make a concerted, thought out effort to tend to this portion of our town. And you can do it without sacrificing the character of the town or its wonderful environmental resources. Environmental protection and commercial development too often are seen as incompatible. They're not. You need a viable, vibrant commercial base in order to tend to your environment. And I can give you example after example of that, but as for instance, there was a ton of road flooding during Hurricane Irene. Well, that's because there has to be you have to tend to your natural environment upstream from where that water's coming. You have to be able to go and dredge the ponds that are natural detention, water detention basins, and you have to holding open land is great, but you have to be a good steward of it in order to make it work for everyone. And for that, you have to tend to your commercial tax base to provide that revenue. So that you have to do this balancing act. And I think, based upon my years and years of experience in all these areas, I do have a very broad knowledge of the interworkings of all of these things, and with some idea of both the consequences and unforeseen consequences of the action that's taken on the local level. And I think that's why that's what I bring to this race. And I hope that you will all consider voting for me.